You're about to go to sleep tonight, just like you've done thousands of times before. But what if I told you that one small habit you do every night, something that feels completely harmless, could be silently increasing your risk of early death? Not 10 years from now, not decades later. Starting tonight, doctors are now warning that a single nighttime behavior is strongly linked to heart disease, memory loss, weakened immunity, and even a shorter lifespan. And the most dangerous part? Most people over 50 are doing it every single night without realizing the damage. I've spent years studying behavioral health patterns in older adults, working alongside sleep specialists and cardiologists. And what we're seeing now is deeply concerning. Large-scale studies tracking tens of thousands of adults show a clear pattern. Your nighttime routine may matter more than your diet or even your exercise. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 common nighttime habits, ranked from least dangerous to the absolute worst, that are quietly accelerating aging inside your body. And by the end, I'll reveal the number 1 habit that doctors say is most strongly linked to early death. You need to hear this before you go to bed tonight. But first, I want to know, how old are you? Drop your age in the comments below. Not for me, but for you. Because the risks I'm about to share increase sharply after 50, and awareness is your first line of defense. Let's begin. Number 6. You think you're doing something harmless, maybe even relaxing. You sit down in the evening, turn on the TV, scroll your phone, and slowly drift into a long stretch of sitting before bed. It feels normal, comfortable, deserved after a long day. But this simple habit, prolonged sitting in the evening, is now being called the new smoking for older adults. Here's what happens inside your body. When you sit for extended periods, especially after dinner, your metabolism slows dramatically. Blood sugar levels stay elevated longer. Fat-burning enzymes become less active, and circulation, especially to your legs and brain, drops significantly. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that adults over 50 who sat for more than 3 hours in the evening had a 45% higher risk of cardiovascular-related death compared to those who stayed lightly active. That's not a small increase. That's nearly half again as likely. Let me tell you about Robert. At 62, Robert considered himself healthy enough. He wasn't overweight. He took short walks during the day. But every evening, after dinner, he sat in his recliner for hours, watching TV until he fell asleep. It was his routine, his reward, until one night, he felt a tightness in his chest that wouldn't go away. He brushed it off as indigestion, until it became a full-blown heart attack. Doctors later explained that his sedentary evening habit contributed to poor circulation and blood vessel stiffness, 2 silent factors that had been building for years. After 50, your body becomes far less forgiving. Muscle activity plays a critical role in regulating blood sugar and maintaining vascular health. When you remove that movement for hours every night, the damage compounds quickly. But here's the good news. You don't need to run marathons or hit the gym at night. A simple fix can dramatically reduce your risk. After dinner, stand up every 30 minutes. Walk around your home. Do light stretching. Even 5 minutes of movement can reactivate your metabolism and improve blood flow. And here's a powerful synergy tip most people miss. Combine light movement with deep breathing. As you walk, inhale slowly through your nose and exhale fully. This boosts oxygen delivery and helps your nervous system shift into a healthier nighttime state. It's simple, it's free, and it could save your life. Now let's move to number 5. This one is even more common and far more dangerous than it appears. You go to bed feeling tired, maybe even exhausted. But instead of falling asleep peacefully, your mind starts racing. You replay conversations. You worry about your health, your finances, your family. Minutes turn into hours. You're lying there, awake, stressed, and completely unaware that this habit is quietly damaging your heart and brain. Chronic nighttime stress and overthinking is one of the most underestimated threats to longevity. Here's the science. When your mind is active with stress before sleep, your body releases cortisol, the primary stress hormone. This keeps your nervous system in a state of alertness, preventing deep, restorative sleep. But it doesn't stop there. Elevated nighttime cortisol has been linked to increased inflammation, higher blood pressure, and even accelerated brain aging. In fact, A study from the University of California found that adults over 50 with high nighttime cortisol levels had a 67% higher risk of developing cognitive decline within 5 years. That's not just forgetfulness. That's the early stages of dementia. Let me share Linda's story. Linda was 58, recently retired, and constantly worried about the future. Every night, she'd lie in bed thinking about what-if scenarios. What if she got sick? What if her savings ran out? She told herself it was just thinking, just planning. But over time, she began waking up tired, irritable, and forgetful. She lost focus. Her mood declined. And eventually, her doctor diagnosed her with chronic insomnia and anxiety-related hypertension. The damage had been building silently, night after night. After 50, your brain becomes more sensitive to stress hormones. What you might have brushed off in your 30s now has a deeper, more lasting impact on your health. But again, there's a solution. You can't stop thoughts from appearing, but you can change how your body responds to them. Before bed, create a mental offload ritual. Write down your worries on paper. Get them out of your head. Then practice slow breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. This signals your brain that it's safe to relax. And here's the synergy tip. Pair this with a consistent bedtime. Going to sleep at the same time every night trains your brain to enter a calm, predictable rhythm, reducing stress automatically. Because the truth is, your mind should not be fighting battles when your body is trying to heal. And what's coming next is even more dangerous. Number 4. This one feels innocent, almost comforting. You climb into bed, maybe feeling a little hungry, or maybe just bored. So you reach for a snack. A biscuit, some leftover rice, maybe even something light like fruit or tea with sugar. It feels small, harmless, something to help you sleep. But late-night eating, especially after your body has already started preparing for rest, can quietly disrupt nearly every system that keeps you alive. Here's what most people don't realize. Your body runs on an internal clock known as your circadian rhythm. After sunset, your metabolism naturally slows down. Insulin sensitivity drops. Your digestive system begins to power down. So when you eat late at night, your body struggles to process that food efficiently. Instead of being used for energy, more of it gets stored as fat. Blood sugar levels stay elevated longer, and your pancreas is forced to work overtime when it should be resting. A large study published in the journal Cell Metabolism found that people who ate within 2 hours of bedtime had a 55% higher risk of metabolic disorders, including type 2 diabetes and obesity, both major contributors to early death. Let me tell you about Ahmed. At 61, Ahmed had developed a simple routine. After dinner, he'd relax, watch TV, and around 10:30, he'd have just a little something, usually sweets, sometimes leftovers. He wasn't overeating. In fact, he believed he was eating less overall. But during a routine checkup, his doctor noticed rising blood sugar levels. Within a year, Ahmed was diagnosed with prediabetes. He was shocked. He hadn't changed his diet much, but the timing of his eating had quietly shifted his entire metabolic balance. After 50, your body becomes less efficient at handling glucose. Late-night eating amplifies this weakness, increasing fat storage around vital organs and raising your risk of heart disease. But here's the fix. Create a hard kitchen-closed rule. Stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Give your body time to fully digest and reset. If you truly feel hungry, opt for something extremely light and low in sugar, like a small portion of protein. But avoid making it a habit. And here's the synergy tip. Combine early evening meals with a short walk afterward. This helps stabilize blood sugar and improves digestion before your body enters its overnight repair mode. Because your body isn't designed to digest and repair at the same time. And when you force it to, something always pays the price. Now, number 3. This one is everywhere. In your bedroom, in your hand, probably within arm's reach right now. And it may be one of the most underestimated health threats of the modern age. Using screens before bed. Your phone, your tablet, your television, they all emit blue light. And while it may seem harmless, this light sends a powerful signal to your brain. Stay awake. Here's what happens biologically. Blue light suppresses melatonin, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy. Without enough melatonin, your body struggles to enter deep sleep, the stage where healing, memory consolidation, and cellular repair occur. But it goes deeper than just poor sleep. Chronic exposure to blue light at night has been linked to increased risks of depression, weakened immune function, and even certain types of cancer due to disrupted circadian rhythms. A Harvard study found that just 2 hours of blue light exposure before bed can suppress melatonin production by up to 50%. That's half your natural sleep signal gone. Let me introduce you to Farzana. At 55, she developed a habit many people relate to. Every night, she'd lie in bed scrolling through her phone, news, social media, videos. She told herself it helped her wind down. But over time, she struggled to fall asleep. Then she started waking up multiple times during the night. Soon, she felt constantly tired, anxious, and mentally foggy. Her immune system weakened. She caught infections more often, and she felt like she was aging faster than she should. It wasn't until her doctor asked about her nighttime routine that the pattern became clear. After 50, your melatonin production already declines naturally. Adding artificial light at night accelerates that decline, robbing your body of the deep sleep it desperately needs. So what can you do? Set a strict screen cutoff time, at least 1 hour before bed. Replace screens with calming activities, reading a physical book, gentle stretching, or quiet conversation. If you must use devices, enable blue light filters or night mode. It's not perfect, but it reduces the damage. And here's the synergy tip. Dim the lights in your home after sunset. This reinforces your body's natural sleep signals and helps melatonin rise more effectively. Because sleep isn't just rest, it's repair, it's survival. And if you're blocking it, even unknowingly, the consequences build faster than you think. Now, before we get to the 2 most dangerous habits, the ones doctors say are most strongly linked to early death, take a moment. If you've recognized even one of these patterns in your own life, you're not alone. Most people over 50 fall into at least 2 or 3 of these habits without realizing it. But awareness changes everything. So if you're finding this helpful, make sure you stay with me until the end. The final habit, number 1, is something millions of people do every night, and it carries the highest risk of all. Now, let's move to number 2. This one doesn't just affect your sleep. It affects whether your body can breathe properly while you sleep. And for many people, it's happening without them even knowing. Sleeping in the wrong position, or more specifically, sleeping in a way that restricts airflow. This includes lying flat on your back with poor neck support, using the wrong pillow height, or positions that cause your airway to collapse slightly during sleep. You may think, I've slept this way for years. But your body changes with age. Muscle tone in your throat decreases. Tissues become more relaxed. And this increases the likelihood of partial airway blockage, a condition closely related to sleep apnea. Here's why that's dangerous. When your airway is restricted during sleep, your oxygen levels drop. Your brain senses this and briefly wakes you up, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of times per night. You don't remember these awakenings, but your body feels them. This leads to fragmented sleep, increased blood pressure, and chronic strain on your heart. A major study published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine found that untreated sleep apnea increases the risk of cardiovascular death by up to 2.5 times. That's more than double the risk. Let me tell you about Khalid. At 64, he believed he slept just fine. He went to bed early, stayed in bed for 7 to 8 hours. But during the day, he felt exhausted. He had frequent headaches. His blood pressure kept rising despite medication. His wife mentioned that he snored loudly and sometimes seemed to stop breathing for a few seconds at night. Eventually, he underwent a sleep study. The result? Severe obstructive sleep apnea. His body had been struggling for oxygen every night for years. After starting treatment and adjusting his sleeping position, his energy returned, his blood pressure improved, and his risk of heart complications dropped significantly. After 50, airway health becomes critical. Something as simple as your pillow or sleeping position can determine how well your body oxygenates during the night. Here's what you can do. Try sleeping on your side instead of your back. This naturally keeps your airway more open. Use a pillow that supports your neck without tilting your head too far forward or backward. If you snore heavily, wake up tired, or experience morning headaches, don't ignore it. Get evaluated for sleep apnea. And here's the synergy tip. Maintain a healthy weight and avoid alcohol before bed. Both can worsen airway collapse and breathing issues. Because breathing isn't optional. And when your body struggles to do it, night after night, the damage doesn't stay silent forever. And now, we arrive at the most dangerous habit of all. Number 1. This is the habit doctors fear the most because it hides in plain sight. It doesn't feel dangerous. It doesn't cause immediate pain. And millions of people over 50 do it every single night, believing it actually helps them sleep better. But over time, it quietly damages your brain, your heart, your liver, and your chances of living a long, healthy life. Drinking alcohol before bed. Maybe it's just one drink, a small glass of whiskey, a bit of wine, something to take the edge off after a long day. It feels relaxing. It makes you drowsy. Sometimes, it even helps you fall asleep faster. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because what feels like sleep is not real, restorative sleep. Here's what's happening inside your body. Alcohol is a sedative, not a natural sleep aid. It forces your brain into a shallow, fragmented state of unconsciousness. It suppresses REM sleep, the stage responsible for memory, emotional processing, and neurological repair. Without enough REM sleep, your brain doesn't properly reset. Over time, this leads to memory loss, mood instability, and increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. But it doesn't stop there. Alcohol also relaxes the muscles in your throat, increasing the risk of airway blockage and sleep apnea. Your oxygen levels drop. Your heart rate becomes irregular. Your body enters a state of stress, even while you appear to be resting. A long-term study published in The Lancet found that regular nighttime alcohol consumption, even at moderate levels, was associated with a 20 to 30% increased risk of all-cause mortality. That means a significantly higher chance of dying earlier from any cause. Let me tell you about Saeed. At 59, Saeed had what he called a simple routine. Every night, after dinner, he poured himself a drink. Sometimes two. He wasn't a heavy drinker. He never felt out of control. In fact, he believed it was helping him sleep. "I fall asleep faster," he would say. "I feel relaxed." But over the years, things started to change. He began waking up at 3 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. His memory became unreliable. He felt anxious for no clear reason. His blood pressure crept higher despite medication. Then came the moment that changed everything. One night, he woke up gasping for air, his heart racing, chest tight, drenched in sweat. It felt like a heart attack. At the hospital, doctors didn't just look at his heart. They looked at his sleep patterns, his habits, his nightly routine, and they told him something he didn't expect. His harmless, nightly drink had been quietly disrupting his nervous system for years, raising his risk of heart disease, worsening his breathing at night, and preventing his brain from ever reaching deep, restorative sleep. Saeed wasn't sleeping. He was sedating himself into a state that looked like rest, but acted like damage. After 50, your body loses much of its ability to metabolize alcohol efficiently. What once felt mild now lingers longer in your system. Its effects on your brain and heart become stronger and more dangerous. Even one drink can reduce sleep quality. Two or more can significantly disrupt your entire sleep cycle. But here's the turning point. Saeed made a decision. He stopped drinking before bed. The first week was difficult. He struggled to fall asleep naturally. His body had become dependent on that artificial sedative. But then something remarkable happened. His sleep deepened. He started waking up refreshed. His mind felt clearer. His mood stabilized. Within months, his blood pressure improved. His energy returned. He felt like he had reversed years of hidden damage. And that's the truth most people don't hear. Your body has an incredible ability to recover if you stop interfering with it. If you remove alcohol from your nighttime routine, even for a few weeks, you give your brain and heart a chance to reset. Replace that habit with something that truly supports your body. Herbal tea, warm water, light stretching, quiet reflection. And here's the synergy tip that can change everything. Combine alcohol-free nights with a consistent wind-down ritual. Dim the lights, slow your breathing, and signal to your body that it's time to rest naturally, not artificially. Because real sleep is not forced. It's earned through the right conditions. And when you give your body those conditions, it rewards you with healing, strength, and longevity. Now let me leave you with something important. None of these habits are rare. In fact, most people over 50 are doing at least 2 or 3 of them every single night. Not because they're careless, but because no one ever told them the truth. But now you know. Tonight is not just another night. It's an opportunity to change one small habit that could extend your life, protect your brain, and strengthen your heart. You don't need to fix everything at once. Start with one. Maybe tonight, you stand up after dinner instead of sitting for hours. Maybe you put your phone away earlier. Maybe you choose water instead of alcohol. Small decisions, repeated nightly, create massive outcomes over time, because your body is always listening to what you do consistently, and it responds, either by healing or by slowly breaking down. The choice is yours. So before you go to bed tonight, ask yourself one simple question. Is what I'm about to do helping me live longer or shortening my life? And be honest with the answer. If this opened your eyes even a little, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone you care about, your spouse, your parents, your friends, because they might be doing these habits too, without realizing the cost. And if you want more videos like this, real, research-backed insights that help you protect your health as you age, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. Because the habits you change today determine the life you live tomorrow.